welcome back to Intel Extreme Masters Cologne 2014, our last stop of the Season 8 tournament. Just 4 weeks' time, we will be in Katowice in Poland for the World Championship final, the $100,000 winner-takes-all tournament. Before we get there, we still have 2 more days left for our last players to qualify. 2 spots up for grabs this weekend. Where do we start here, Mr. Kalaris? Group C, Polt, MaNa, Jaedong, Stardust. And we've got a MaNa versus Polt upper bracket winner bracket final. That's exactly how we thought this was going to go.
Well, Polt did say in his interview that he didn't want to meet Jaedong just yet.
Yes, he did.
So I guess we kind of get that in the end, to a certain degree.
In a weird kind of way. MaNa, though, let's just talk about the boy from Poland, because he was brilliant in that first match. I mean, really, everything that Jaedong had for him, he had an answer for it. Yeah. I mean, I felt his joy genuinely felt his joy after finishing that game. And he has every right to be high. But now, unfortunately, he's got to kind of go, calm, get back into the game, and now talk about Polt. And this is a totally different kettle of fish. Different race, different type of player. And although he had a fantastic qualifying series and won against a lot of Zergs, the one that he came unstuck against was Jack G at Terran. Are we seeing the same thing?
Well, I think we've got to consider the time in between the qualifiers and now, and seeing what MaNa was just able to pull out against Jaedong, which was clear that MaNa has stepped up his game. Ever since leaving Mousesports, actually, we've seen MaNa take on a whole new persona of games. He was fantastic in the qualifiers, up until Jack G, of course, which just kind of rules Europe. And then from there, I'm not sure what's going on. And then from there on, you know, maybe he'll do well against Polt as well. We'll see.
Chances of him staying teamless much longer? Pretty thin, I would think, after that performance. There's a whole host of clans out there right now, all shopping for StarCraft 2 players. And he's just gone and beaten Jaedong, one of the biggest names in StarCraft of all time.
Well, this is basically MaNa's... This is his tournament where he says, this is how much I'm worth, right?
This is his shop window.
Yeah, so... I mean, a win against Jaedong alone is amazing, and that now puts a price tag on him that's a little bit higher, not only to the community, but also the teams. And then now if he's able to take out Polt and go first place in this group, a group where no one really expected him to take that first place, that'd be pretty impressive.
Okay. Thank you very much. We are going to catch up with James at the end of the game for some analysis and breakdown of our winners bracket game. It's time to go over to our commentary team for our winners bracket, and this is going to be a cracker. It's Polt versus MaNa.
Thank you very much, guys, and welcome once again over here at the casting desk, where we are about to find out the first place finisher of Group C here at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne, and not the expected winners game that we all thought to see.
Well, apparently it's going to be a cracker.
It's going to be a cracker.
Whatever that means.
It's going to be a cracker. It means it's going to be an awesome top draw game. As you can see on the bottom of your screen, here is the expected outcome from you guys at home, with a 64% in favor of Polt. Do you reckon that's accurate to what you would expect this outcome to be?
As mean as this sounds for MaNa, I think I would say there is even more of an advantage than that in Polt's favor right now. Looking at some of MaNa's recent results against top Terrans, his last match was versus Happy, he won that 2-0, but his last 3 encounters versus Jack G, which are all very recent, 0-2, 0-3, 0-3.
Oh dear.
So as much as I said that yesterday Jack G was playing really well versus Protoss, and this was some of the best Terran versus Protoss that I had seen play from him, I think Polt was even more impressive today. What does that mean?
Yeah.
Well,
and Polt plays very similar to Jack G too.
I think actually the thing that he does with the 2 armies split up is just makes him so much better than Jack G in a way. Even though Jack G he has his own style. You know, I feel like he's dropping a little bit more and then trying to commit to one big fight. But yeah, other than that, they're both super solid. They both one cheese often. They take 3rd bases, 4th bases. They take to Ghost about the same time too.
Yeah.
Like not very early, not too late either. And they upgrade very consistently. So I guess in that way, yes. But what Polt has been doing with the 2-pronged attacks, MaNa has to have some kind of idea on how to go about countering this, because this is going to be the difficulty here for him. I'm sure this is what Polt's going to want to look to do. And MaNa used to be this very solid player that could do a lot of different strategies. He always liked to throw at least 1 or 2 all-in in a series. And now we just saw him versus Jaedong. He used an all-in once. The both other games he tried to play a solid and long game. He only won one of them. So now going up against Polt, who showed so much strength previously, we have to wonder, how does he try and play against him? What do you think?
I think he'll try straight up. MaNa's older Protoss versus Terran style come over the last couple of years has always been a much more straight up style. Actually, Colossus focus did switch over to Templar play for a little bit, but overall has always been, I'm going to take it to the later stages, not really trying to play super aggressive.
Actually, in Wings of Liberty, if you think about it, he was considered the best Protoss versus Terran in Europe and maybe even in the world for some time.
Especially the time when he went to Korea and played in the GSL there. He played really well during that period, especially against Terran. But
I was thinking a little bit more before that, though.
But I mean, whatever the case, he was considered a really good Protoss versus Terran, and it was his favorite matchup for a very, very long time.
And it was always opening Storm back then. Say Kaidar in Amulet.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace. And now the Ghosts start with the right energy now, so it's really flipped around since those days.
And it's payback time.
It's payback time. Terrans are ready. But as you can see, this is, of course, MaNa, the 20-year-old from Poland, who would love the chance to play in the Intellectuary Masters Katowice. But, of course, that's a long, long way away from even getting close to thinking about that. That would require a top 2 finish. But right now he goes up against Polt, who won 2 Premier Leagues in the World Championship Series in America and also an MLG, so 3 championships last year. Is definitely regarded as one of the better Terran players out there. And as you were saying before, you're feeling that Polt can be one of the top 2 Terran versus Protoss players in the world right now.
Yeah, very well could be. He showed so much strength earlier when he played. It was actually quite insane watching. So going into this match here versus MaNa, I would say he's probably very, very confident. I talked to him a little bit about this match, and he was telling me that he would much rather play versus MaNa actually than Jaedong.
Yeah.
And well, he got his wish granted here, so...
He did get his wish granted, and now all he needs to do is just finish the deal and find himself in the round of 8 as our second Terran. But MaNa went into the previous series not really being expected by a lot of people to win, and I think that's kind of the same thing here. But there is a chance. There's 30-odd%, 36% of you out there that believes that he can do that.
Yes.
And we'll see if that can be the case here. But Polt is playing pretty damn impressive. He had the 2-1 victory over CJ Enthus' Hero in Sao Paulo. He's just, I mean, even today's result against Stardust as well, just looking really, really good in Terran versus Protoss. And we'll see how things are going to shape up here. MaNa is preparing to play. Do you reckon he can do it, though, Todd? That's the big question.
I think it's going to be so difficult, but he's had a nice win versus Happy recently. Sadly, I did not get to see those games, but I talked to him a little bit about them, and he was basically telling me that those were kind of tricky games. You know, like he made a Twilight, he started researching Blink, then this was spotted, so he went into defensive mode instead of being offensive with the Blink. And from there, Happy was basically playing defensive, in which case you're going to want to play greedy against somebody who's defensive. That's exactly what MaNa did, instead of committing after being scouted. And I expect similar stuff here versus Polt, really trying to trick him and gain some kind of a lead from tricking his opponent. And then from there, well, you can just start pulling ahead, and if you can get more ahead, you can win the game. But against somebody like Polt, how do you do that? You need to get quite far ahead to be able to not let him come back, recover, do his multi-pronged attacks. It kind of feels like you need to end the game early. In late games, it seems very unlikely that Protoss will be able to beat him right now. Even though we only saw one series. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves.
Yeah, would be funny if Polt just crashed out from this position. Played amazing versus Stardust and then just loses versus MaNa and then someone else. That would be quite the run. I think we could say that would be quite the disaster run. But we are now pretty much ready for the 3rd series of the day. Of course, this is the winners match, still best of 3, where we will have one more player advancing into the round of 8, our 5th player from the group stages. MaNa or Polt, which one is it going to be? The first map is going to be on Frost. Can MaNa make back-to-back miracles happen here? It would be a very, very impressive run if he was to be able to beat Polt like Jaedong previous. And then here in the bottom left-hand side is the red Terran player. Sponsored by CM Storm. Living in America, it's Polt. One of 2 only players in the entire world with professional athlete visas to play StarCraft, him and Violet. And then up here to the top left is the Blue Protoss player, currently teamless, but for how much longer? It is, of course, MaNa.
Isn't it funny how teamless players suddenly start playing so much better? Like they find a new motivation. Look at MC.
Yeah.
MC's been performing so well since he's teamless again.
Yeah.
Even though he has managers and all that, he's still looking for sponsors. So if you have millions of dollars, I think that's what he asked.
$10,000 to put your sponsor on his T-shirt. I think he said in an interview.
With a small sticker. That's it.
Polt, though, I started to think towards the end of last year, and he did mention it a little bit, that school was taking its toll a little bit, because throughout the summer he was obviously playing really well. He wasn't in school, he played at MLG, he played in the WCS Premier Leagues, but towards the end of the year, coming October, November, December, you know, quarterfinals in BlizzCon is great, round of 16 at the Season 3 finals is okay, 7th and 8th at Winter's good, but not winning, and he started to say that he couldn't practice as much. His results did drop off a little bit, but now he's 100% dedicated to full-time playing StarCraft again now, with this athlete's visa that he has to play in America. 5 years long. It's a long time
Really?
he could be in
stopped
America.
going to university?
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know. For how long?
Since he got the visa.
Okay, so not that long,
Christmas,
but
after Christmas.
It's already quite showing.
Yeah, after Christmas. Because he went back home to Korea for the holidays, and then came back with the visa, and then since then he left school and is focusing on this. 5 years is a long time for that visa, so he can do what he wants in America, come and go as he pleases.
Yeah, that's always nice. We had quite a greedy build here by MaNa. He went for Gateway, then Nexus, and then Gas. So probably hoping he's facing a command center first, in which case you're able to keep up economically. But in this case, Polt went for the Reaper. So now there is a chance this could do a lot of damage. But Polt, he has only scouted on the bottom right-hand side with his SCV. I do think, he's going to go to the top left-hand side with his Reaper. He might end up killing quite a few probes here. It's going to be difficult for MaNa to hold this as well as he could have if he had opened more in a standard way.
Well, here's the first test of the game then for MaNa. He's chrono boosting out this Stalker from the gateway, and it will arrive shortly, but there's an opportunity here. A few seconds window for this Reaper to do damage, and we're about to find out. 0. I have full confidence. Full confidence. That one doesn't count.
What about that one?
No, that doesn't count.
What about that one?
Or that one.
Oh, he's stuck actually. He thought he could escape. He had not seen the cybernetic score behind there. 3 kills for a death. Definitely worth it. 10 probes are on the minerals right now for MaNa, since he's doing 4+3 on the gases. Already doing a big mistake. He lost 3 probes and he's lost 1 more that could be on minerals. He's getting so little money right now. He wanted to go for a pure economic build, but he got the opposite.
Yeah. And obviously, if you didn't know, it takes 3 workers to saturate a gas, and MaNa has 4, so one's not doing anything. It's basically just an idle probe in this regard. But we do have the Twilight Council immediately thrown down here by MaNa. We've seen Terran players in this tournament lose to a lot of DT builds. Blink has not been out there, and this isn't the best Blink map either. It's still viable, but...
And you know what? When there has been Blink, it was in a non-committal way. Not with like super early 5 gates and really big aggression. But I think in this case it might be just because MaNa is too far behind. The placement though might suggest a little bit more DTs, but I'm going to go for a Blink this time just because I feel like it.
Because I feel like it. That's why.
But,
so Todd, why? Because I feel like it. That's why.
It's good enough for Frenchie, man.
Wouldn't mind on the way, though. The factory follow-up, not barracks follow-up there. So this could potentially be, well, quite game-ending if this was to plant itself into the mineral lines, for example, and there's no detection, which currently there isn't.
And what I'm expecting here out of MaNa is a gateway explosion here soon, at least 2 being added on very soon. If he does not go for a robo, obviously he's going to be in lots of trouble. He has a probe out on the map, quite hidden, but this is actually kind of far for probe. It has to go all the way around to proxy closer pylons than the one he could make up there. And 4 gateways were added on. Still no robo, still no gas SID expansion.
Yeah, and the medevac's almost out here. One Widow Mine's actually planted into the mineral line on the natural, just in case there was an oracle. But, well, it's going to be hard to play with.
There's not going to be any photon overcharge if the mothership core is out of position. MaNa might completely miss this. You know, one good thing he could have done was make a pylon on that bridge between their bases.
Yeah.
And he could spot this coming. He could definitely defend it better against... Oh, does he see the...
Oh,
he saw it!
core range.
He should recall, maybe.
Well,
but then he wouldn't have photon overcharge.
No, well, the...
He has to warp
Medivac's on its
stalkers.
way.
He has to pull probes if those Widow Mines burrow. Oh, is that Widow Mine? Actually, it's a single one.
Yeah, just one. The other one's still in the natural here.
Ah, so it's not so bad.
Well,
Yet.
he burrows and it's planted. No detection.
Oh, the breath. Oh my god.
That was big. 10 kills have been, well, including the 3 from the Reaper, 7 kills.
Yeah, this is
My
looking
golly
bad.
gosh.
This has to be all in for MaNa. Look, he's added on 2
Yeah.
extra gateways in his main. He's gonna go up to 6 gateways in total, plus the Robo.
Look at Polt's positioning defensively back at home.
By the
Widow
way,
Mine,
yeah.
bunker.
It's almost reloaded already. 10 seconds away from detonating.
Oh,
and,
this is disastrous. What a bad start here for MaNa in this game number 1 against Polt. Here we go. Well, 2, 1. Okay, just 1. But still, let's have a look at this defense now coming out from Polt, who has Widow Mines in place.
So little stalkers.
Medivac's out, of course. Oh dear me, this is not good. Not good at all. Stim is on a countdown. It's about 100 seconds away. There's a blink forward here, and he jumps right into these Marauders and Marines. And well, that's obviously not working out too well. A Widow Mine detonation, an SUV's come off the line, and that was like a wounded animal jumping in and straight back out again. Jeez, this is not looking good at all for MaNa.
Great comparison.
Yeah, wounded animal, perfect. 2 sentries have actually been warped in here for MaNa.
At this point, I think he's just basically desperate. And that Widow Mine actually reloaded 1 skill, 1 more probe in the natural. He's not defended this still, and MaNa in so much trouble right now. Yeah, he didn't even use the energy on his Mothership Core because he doesn't have enough units to fight against this army of Polt who already has Medivacs. That was such a convincing game from Polt too.
Yeah, I can just, especially the way that this went, by the way, and look how confident Polt is with the defense. He's like, yeah, it's actually fine, man.
Yeah.
I'll send 2 medic versus full units, it's fine.
He even gets a turret just in case there could be a Dark Shrine.
Oh, this is going to be game ending when this drops.
On the natural, they're killing the Widow Mine.
3 Stalkers get walked in. There's the recall.
Oh, if he catches those Medivacs full of unit and snipes them. Oh, but Polt expects this. His game sense is so good. He did not even see this. He did not see the recall.
No.
He guessed this was probably going to be the case.
Yeah.
Man, you cannot surprise this guy. He does not even see things, and he knows that they already happened.
He's like an oracle, a real one.
I do think that MaNa's army was... Maybe it was in the range of that factory, but... I don't know, like, Polt was really, really sure this could be possible, and he made sure not to get surprised here.
Polt the Prophet. Polt now stimming in, and is going to pick off the Sentry and the Guardian Shield, and now is just trading against these units here. And MaNa down majorly in supply. Combat Shield's about to wrap up here, but even though there's only small amounts of units here by Polt, it's about to be meted and greeted with another sizable army, and this is getting more and more difficult here for MaNa. And after a great start against Jaedong in the first series, this obviously has gone the complete opposite way.
Yeah.
And Polt, even though he's a little bit supply capped here, this army he has is actually really, really strong. And 1 less Stalker, another Stalker bites dust, and there's been quite a few of them so far in this game. And I think that Polt may be able to win the game with the next movement out, really, here. There's very little left for MaNa.
Yeah, the only logical move here will be to go for Storm and basically hope for the best. Oh, okay, he knew that was on cooldown. Polt playing very solid here, going for the 3rd base behind this, going for more upgrades.
Yeah.
And not rushing in there too early, because he knows that since he was in front of MaNa's base, MaNa was probably cutting probes for some time and getting as many units as he could to hold any kind of attack. So he's actually going to wait until he gets the critical mass that he needs to finish the game. And if he hits a pre-storm's timing, it's going to be when he's the strongest, basically. And when MaNa's the weakest.
Oh, tries to get the Medivac, didn't quite get it, and will be punished in return. 1 Stalker, 2 Stalker, 3 Stalker more.
He's going to go for it because of this. Look, the reinforcements are right behind. And
Storm is not ready. Not ready at all.
Actually, we've seen Polt before being a little bit too slow with those attacks sometimes and really letting his opponent get Storm when he played versus Stardust. So he's going to have to be careful here.
He's going to come from 2 ways. Scans, sees, and is like, oh, perfect time, let's go, tally-ho! And moves forward here, and this is an unstoppable force, really. MaNa's trying to wait for Storm, but yeah, it's not going to happen in this game. It's too far away. Feedbacks come in, but this is Polt's game from the get-go here. Just beautifully started, beautifully built through. And 1-0. Not the best of starts here for MaNa.
To say the least, yeah.
To say the least.
This was not good at all.
No, not good. It's going to be hard to match that in the next one if he plays bad. Anything he does really is going to be better than that one. That wasn't the best of starts. Very convincing from Polt.
I like the idea of going for the build he went for, but he got very unlucky that he had to face a Reaper. The thing is, if you look back at the history of Polt, the way he's played versus Stardust, he opened with Reaper almost every single time, I think. Was it in every game? At least 2 of the games. 2 of the 3 games that he played against him. So if you look at that, you have to think, well, you know what? Is he going to do it on Frost or is he going to go for a Command Center first? It kind of feels like a 50-50 situation because that one Rax no gas Command Center kind of fell out of fashion recently. It's either Reaper expands or Command Center first. In this case, MaNa definitely got to do the worst end of that deal. And he faced a build order deficit, and then he started making mistakes from early on. Putting 4 probes on the gas is a huge mistake. He had 10 probes on the mirrors while almost finishing his second Nexus. This is a disaster of a scenario to be in.
Even I don't put 4 probes in gas. Even me.
You put 4 SCVs.
4 drones, actually, to get it right.
Well, it's okay, Sean, because you know what? I remember a game that I played a long time ago on Metalopolis versus a Zerg player in which I did not saturate the gas on my expansion during the entire game.
Wow.
How much worse is that?
That's a lot worse.
Yes, indeed it is.
That's a lot worse. And I'm sure there's a lot of people listening to this cast right now who probably relates to you very often and daily. But mistakes happen. MaNa made a couple of them, but he's going to have to erase those going into this next one. And it's going to be Yeonsu, though. You know, stats-wise, this is a decent map for Protoss against Terran. It's a nice blink map. There's a lot of options for you to choose from, aggressive ones. It doesn't necessarily need to be blink. It can be DTs, can be the Oracle. But Polt, as we saw earlier at Stardust, played a great game here against blink play.
I wonder if MaNa sees this first game as a huge mistake build order-wise and thinks that his build is still good with the blink. And it goes for the same one, but just with a more standard build.
And then Polt 2 Rexes and wins in 10 seconds.
No. I think if MaNa opens normally here with 1 gate expands and not a greedy build and then goes into the same build, he's going to have a much better chance, obviously. He really started with a huge deficit last game.
Well, we're ready for map number 2 now. QXE came to the office today. He brought an American flag with him and gave it to Polt, who has it in his back pocket. No lies. Polt moving on now. Maybe it was lies, but you're never going to find out.
With
really,
QXE,
you can never know. Maybe I'm lying, maybe I'm not. It's up to Red Eye to find out, really, because he's the only one who's going to be able to ask. But up here to the top right as the Terran player, spawning red, playing for CM Storm. It's Polt. Focused and looking really, really good. And I think he actually played very well in Sao Paulo, which is a little bit unlucky. But down here is the blue Protoss. It is MaNa.
I actually thought you were going to say Polt is the only one who can reach down Polt's pocket and see if there's an American flag.
Is there a flag in my pocket?
Is there a flag in your pocket?
Did QXC slip a flag into my pocket?
Oh, very quick scout here by MaNa. Interesting. Talked a lot about this before. Again, European Protoss not doing too much scouting. I guess times are changing. As MaNa is going to go for a quick scout. He wants to know if he's up against a gas again and a Reaper opener, and he is. So it's going to be some good information that he can get early on. And this is going to be a much more standard build. Most likely the 1 gas gateway expands. And I wouldn't be surprised if MaNa tries again for the same build and just gets a better execution, gets a better start, obviously, because he's not going to lose 3 probes. At least I don't think so. And I love the way he's walled off his base already. We've seen a lot of Protosses do this these days, mostly Koreans. Hero doing it every single game, really showing us the way in how to deal with that early scouting from Reapers.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny, even though I cast all these games, I never learn and I never do this myself. So
today
if you're a Protoss player,
today is the day.
Take a screenshot of that base right here and start using it yourself, because this is a pretty good base versus a Terran. At least early on. Later on, when you get dropped on the left-hand side and you're blocking your own army in, not as good. That's why you need to have
Don't
Templars.
wait until the angry tweets come in. You told me to do this, yet they drop behind it and I can't stop it.
That's because you didn't have the in-control cannon and the Templars.
Ah, the in-control cannon. The
It's gonna be
beefiest of beefiest cannons. So we have the Reaper out now, and it is over, of course, straight towards the reactor here.
And he cancelled the Zealot, which I like. He saw the SCV was not at his expansion, ready to block. So Mothership Core is going to be made, probably second gas very quickly. And behind his standard warp gates. No, I don't think he's going to proxy something.
I was going to say.
because he took the second gas so late. You see his gas is still very, very low. Plus, you need the Stalker, even though you have the Mothership Core. Then again, I guess since he made this base, there goes a new build I'm cooking in my head right now.
You just stop talking about it. I'm saving this one for me. So it is 2 barracks this time for Polt.
It's funny because it's not only the same exact build, it's also the exact same barrack placement that we saw before. Look at it. The second one is placed exactly the same order and all that.
Very calculated is Polt. As he makes his way into the main base here with the Reaper, and he's going to have a look-see, but gets denied immediately from the Stalker. And we'll be looking for another opportunity to see if there is that Twilight Council, which in the production and now on screen we can see has been placed towards the back of MaNa's main Nexus. And exactly the same like previous, Polt holds the Xel'Naga Tower. The Mothership Core's in the exact same position it was against Stardust. And it looks like an identical game so far.
Do you think he's going to do the same? Knowing that MaNa was watching those games? My mind will be blown, man. And actually, this is the answer to my question. Possibly. I was wondering how a Blink play with possibly 5 gateways will do against this strategy of 3 barracks and huge committal to bioforces.
MaNa tried to look in there actually to see if there was any barracks, but he couldn't quite see.
Yeah, this is very, very good placement here by Polt. Man, that one single Reaper at the bottom watchtower, giving so much information to him.
And
every single time.
The robotics facility's been thrown down here by MaNa, and the Reaper is going to go on a bit of a mission. And if he sees the gas being thrown down, that's just a tell immediately here. And he's going to get a probe and see the gas.
I'm a little bit surprised that he went for a probe instead of trying to run into the main. Knowing that the Mothership Core was across the map, there was 1, possibly 2 Stalkers there. Oh, actually, we're barely going to be able to get away here. And Polt right now, he does not know what he's up against, but it really feels like his strategy is basically to be ready for everything.
Yeah, he hasn't even built bunkers at this point. He's just, I mean, in a great position. I'm sure he's going to throw down the factory very, very shortly here too, because there is nothing coming. And he's found himself in a very confident position once again here, Polt, just not making any mistakes, playing very clean.
Yes.
And as you can see, that there's nothing really here that's coming in to threat him.
And Polt's doing the same thing with his army at top here. He's going to go for an attack. Now, MaNa, he has his Mothership Core at home ready to use the photon recharge, and he has some Stalkers already. He has Blink almost finished. He made double gateway. This is a defensive Blink that we've seen a lot from somebody like CJ Hero before. 3 gateways, you get a lot of Stalkers out. As soon as Terran hits, you can defend everything. And the first 2 medivac timing is so much weaker against these 2.
Well, gateways aren't ready. They're not warp gate research. He actually forgot warp gate research.
He's not using photon recharge. He's going to lose a bunch of probes here.
He didn't get warp gate research until now, 25 seconds ago.
Oh, wow.
I was like, wait a minute, his gateway's not on. Wait a minute! Warp gate research wasn't started. And
oh my god, this is... You know what, this happens to me so often? That's... I actually feel really bad for MaNa, because I know the feeling. It's like, well, I kind of lost.
Damn it.
Yeah, not much you can do. He's just going to try to defend this. And the funny part is that you're not even used of having to chrono boost your warp gate
and probes on the natural too, just not even mining. MaNa's falling apart here. This is rather bad.
You know, okay, look, what just happened. This keeps happening to me too. You're not supposed to forget your warp gate, so you're used of spending your chrono boost on your forges now. And since MaNa is not used of it too, he spent chrono boost on his forges instead of saving everything for the warp gates.
Oh, dearie me, Todd. Polt's moving across the map, and there's a single gateway, or 2 gateways, not warp gate research. The Mothership Cores use 1 photon overcharge. It has another one, but...
But you know, you're not having warp gates, you can still make units. They're just going to take a while to get from the gateways to wherever you want them to be, and you're not going to be able to reinforce faster as well. So now he uses the photon overcharge. He might be able to complete warp gate here in a second and get enough units to defend. It's going to be hard. There's so many units.
This has not been a good game here. This has not been a good series at all for MaNa, as Polt's army is just way too big. He's going to run in and kill the Nexus. A rather unfortunate winners match here for MaNa after a fantastic start versus Jaedong. And I think he believed that this could be a way to find himself in the round of 8. But as you can see, that's not going to be the case. He's just thrown down onto 1 base immediately. And this game is as good as over. And MaNa, too many mistakes, game 1, game 2, and he's just crumbled. Polt really didn't do anything in this series to win it himself. It was MaNa that lost it. And there's nothing up here. He can stim 1 more time, even though his units would be quite low. The game's pretty much done and dusted from this point, to quote Colaris.
Polt's going to get in there, and MaNa, I'm a little bit surprised. He played really, really well against Jaedong, and he expected a lot more out of this game, even though I wasn't expecting all that much, according to my prediction. And the people too, with, what was it, like 34%?
Yeah, I thought
this looked more like 1%.
Polt's like Yeah, nodding for that one. He's like, cheers for beating Jaedong. You made it this really easy for me to go into the round of 8. And Polt finds himself as the first player from Group C. And we have another Terran to join Jack G, to join Patience, to join Rain and Liquid Hero in the round of 8. Congratulations, Polt. And now this group has 3 players left, and this is interesting.
Okay, what do you have to say about our next match? Because you've casted
Jaedong.
these two before in the finals.
I've casted this series a lot of times. Stardust versus Jaedong will be the next game from that stage, as you see. And Stardust, let's say, he's used a lot of aggressive and cheesy builds versus Jaedong. Jaedong started off in 2013 losing to them, but then eventually wasn't losing versus Stardust at all. So that, of course, is going to be a great series. And then MaNa sits at the bottom on the final match of Group C. Here's the last couple of moments, by the way, and I think this is where Polt gets his head banging on. Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, wait. Oh, it's right there. It was about to happen. I swear to God, it was about to happen. We might have just missed it there. But
we believe you. Sean,
he definitely was like... He did. I'm not lying. He definitely happened. What do you think about Stardust Jaedong, though?
Very interesting matchup. As you said, Stardust used to be a fairly cheesy Protoss. Yeah. We all remember the 2-1 timing on 3 bases that he did so many times.
He beat Kyun, Lina, Violet, and Jaedong with
Jaedong in the finals. And now going up against Jaedong, I expect to see completely different games. I expect to see at least some Swarmost, because we saw Jaedong kind of like them versus MaNa, and Stardust probably playing... I was about to say passive, then I realized this is actually stupid to say this.
Yeah.
Not passive, but not as all in as he used to.
Yeah.
Probably taking a third base,
saturate a little bit more.
Okay. I'm going to say it. At least saturating the gases on his third base.
At least.
Possibly.
I definitely think that's going to be the case here. Stardust has really improved as a player over the last little bit, but we haven't really seen him against Zerg that often. In Aces RG, he played a lot of Protoss and a lot of Terran, but it seems like Red Eye is ready, so take it away with Polt.
Thanks very much, guys. Yes, with Polt, congratulations. First man through from Group C. It's got to feel good. You said to us before that you didn't really want to meet Jaedong just yet because you wanted him to go through, and that worked out quite nicely because you ended up with MaNa. Were you nervous, though, because maybe you expected to play Jaedong, and then you end up playing MaNa? And so, do you know much about MaNa? Have you watched any of his builds? Have you watched any of his games?
Yeah, because the group was announced, even though I was supposed to play the players from Open Bracket, but I saw the players Jaedong and MaNa in my group, so I watched some videos, of course.
Okay, good. Now, I was just checking that you did that. Talk about the match itself. It seemed straightforward from our point of view. How was it for you?
Maple?
Yeah, the match itself, it seemed very straightforward to us. Almost easy, I have to say. But from your point of view?
Yeah, I kind of played like... because I played just only bio-heavy against Stardust. I thought he watched it maybe, so in the first game on first, I changed it a little bit, so played Widowmine drops, and it worked very well, so I've got kind of easy win.
Yeah, it was straightforward. Quarterfinals now, and you've been here before, Intel Extreme Masters in previous events. You've looked very good in the group stages. I remember you beat CJ Hero, and you were the only player to beat CJ Hero at an Intel Extreme Masters. But then somehow you lose. Why does that happen to you?
Everyone knows if you were there, it was very hard, and I had to play after my first match, and I have to wait for a few hours in that hot condition. So I was kind of exhausted, but here the studio is totally fine for me. So I think tomorrow I will be in great position.
Okay, good news. Nice to hear. Polt's going to be in good position tomorrow, and he is the first man from Group C to qualify for the quarterfinals, which will be taking place tomorrow. We still have one more player to go through from Group C and 3 players still in contention, which we will find out after the break. Who survives and who goes home? Incredibly, it's either Stardust or Jaedong. Unbelievable in Group C. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we will have that lower bracket match to find out who goes through to play MaNa in the last game of Group C. We'll be right back.